Good morning. Who's that? Ava. Good morning, Mackenzie. Good morning, Marvin. Good morning, Leon, Ruby. Good morning, Addie, Lucian. Good morning, Lucas, Arya. Good morning. I think that's Mr. Isaac, Feyruza, and Asa. Good morning to everyone. Hello. It is our social studies lesson today. But we have a few things to do first. So let me see what we're going to do today. Oh, we have to have a teacher helper. Okay, random. Who wants to read our Zoom call expectation promise? Ooh, let's see. Arya, welcome, honey, and go for it.
I promise to raise my hand and won't speak.
Oh, here we go. Say participate. Say participate.
Participate.
Be respectful.
Yes.
Say be respectful. Repeat after me. Be respectful.
Be respectful.
On time.
On time.
Microphones muted.
Microphones muted.
Include your name in the Zoom window.
Include your name in Zoom window.
Stay seated.
Stay seated.
Eyes on me.
Eyes on me.
Fabulous. Don't go anywhere. You're coming back, Arya, for our teacher helper second job, which is our calendar, our what day is today. Okay, so I'm going to say what day is today. You follow along. You can also read right in this big box. Okay, go for it. What's today, Arya?
Today is April 3rd.
2023. Fabulous. It's Monday. Thank you, Arya. All right, teacher helper of the week. So you'll do it again. Oops, who do I hear? Lucian, make sure you're muted, Lucian. Yep, hit that mute button, sweetheart. Thank you, love bug. So Arya, you will be our teacher helper for the rest of the week. Every day that you come to our live lessons, you'll do the same thing. Guess what? We have new April friends. Our April friends are Ava, Leon, Avery, Addie, and Dr. Tyler. Hello, guys, and happy birthday. Let's give them a few monkey claps for our birthday friends. Oops, what's wrong, Mackenzie? What's wrong, Mackenzie?
I was just going to say, my birthday's in April, too.
Really? Oh, I missed it. Let me go back. Let me put a note so I can put that and make sure it's there for tomorrow. Oh, I can't believe I didn't see that. I will fix that. Okay, thank you, love. We have to make sure that we don't miss anybody. All right, so we do have some winners for our, this should say March, our March reading challenge. The following 4 friends have completed their reading challenge book report. So Lucas, Addie, Lucian, and Ruby will get to choose a prize. So I'll get with them later. You don't tell me now. Tell me when I text you, okay, what your prize you'd like it to be. All right. Okay. Now, what are we doing today? Today, we're going to talk some more about immigration. And we're going to explain the cultural influences and contributions of immigrants today. Our next steps are we will identify what it means to be a U.S. citizen, either by birth or by nationalization. Okay. All right. I'll meet you in the near pod. I'm coming. I'll meet you over there. We have some activities to do to learn a little bit more about the cultural influence of immigrants. So if you are not in, please go to the Zoom chat and grab the link and I'll meet you there. All right, I have 10 friends in already. Fabulous. Let's do it. There's a lot to learn today. How much do you already know about the cultural influences of immigrants? A, choose an answer. I know a lot and can explain. B, I need a little bit more practice. C, I need instruction and support. Let's see. Ooh, we have some friends coming in. Cultural influences. Well, you know what? If you picked B or C, that's okay. We will teach you exactly what we mean by cultural influence. And we're going to do a bit of a review about immigration, immigrants that come from other countries. Awesome. So let's learn a little bit more, guys, so that he can move you from the B to the A to show that you understand more about the cultural influences of immigrants in the United States. This is in your module lessons. So if you've already done it, awesome. You can help us. Our first activity is, there are several reasons why immigration continues today. Listen to decide the push and pull factors for each story. Okay, when I am done, don't do it yet. When I'm done, drag the little phrase and put it on top of the picture. So let's do number 1. Meet Pierre. He used to work on a farm in Colombia. The pay was very low and had difficulty paying his rent. He immigrated to the United States and now works as a chef. He enjoys his job and no longer has to worry about paying for rent. Okay, that's Pierre. Comes from Colombia. He had difficulty paying his rent. I'm picking out the key details. He immigrated to the United States and now works as a chef. And now he doesn't have to worry about paying his rent. Okay, let's do 2 down at the bottom. Meet Zion. Zion, he had just flown from Korea to the United States. He has moved here to join his wife and daughter. They have been living in the United States for some time. The family is reunited and will reside in the United States. Okay, so that was Zion. Key details: came from Korea to join his wife and daughter. They now live in the United States, and they're going to stay and reside. That means to live here full time. Now let's meet Paola. She lived on a farm in Mexico before she immigrated to the United States. Her town, house, and crops were destroyed by floods. This resulted in no land or work in her town. When she moved to the United States, she found a new farmland where she's able to work. Okay, key details. Paola, she used to live in Mexico, but a flood damaged everything in her town, including the crops. She didn't have any work. When she moved here, she now has a farm she can work on. So now, hopefully, you have listened to each scenario, each push-pull factor for the reasons why immigrants arrive in the United States. So you're to slide the phrases to find work on top of the picture, the person who wanted to come to the United States to find work. Second one, to join his family. And the third option is to escape natural disasters. Ooh, how'd we do? If you listened super carefully to all of the key details, yay, awesome work, Addie. Asa, excellent. Yep, I agree. You would be able to understand their push and pull. The push, what made them leave their country? Pull, why did they come to the United States? What was so enticing or beneficial about the United States? I agree. Definitely, they had reasons why they needed to come, right? Okay. And I see some friends. Whoa. Don't break the promise. Okay. So I also see some friends who have typed in the Zoom chat their answers. Excellent job. You can do that too if you are unable to join the chat, to explain the push and pull. The push, why they were pushed out of their country, what reasons. And the pull, why did they come to the United States? Ooh, good work. Yep, Emmy, nice. Okay, all right, practice. Now, that was a quick review on why immigrants come to the United States. So hopefully my Nearpod is not stuck forever and I can move on. It's so slow. I think everybody in the planet is doing Nearpod right now. What do you think? Oh, good. Let's read about culture. I'm going to need a friend to read for me. Remember earlier I said we're going to learn what culture is? Who wants to read this? Ugh. Ava, read for me. What is culture?
Culture is a way of living passed down through generations.
Yeah.
Culture can be art, language, family, beliefs, customers, types of food, and religion.
Beautiful. Customs. Customs is sort of like things that you do, almost like traditions or habits that your family does. That's what a custom is. Now, so think about that for just 10 seconds. Just think about the culture in your home. Okay, think about the art, the language, your beliefs, your religion. Think about the kinds of food you love. What kind of food does your grandma make? Oh, and how about, do you have big family gatherings? Where's your family? So that's culture. And all those things influence how you live. And it is passed down from generation to generation. Class discussion. Ooh, let's just choose a few people. Let's do 4 friends, okay? So what would it be like to move to a place that is very different? Let's all of a sudden, I don't know, you had to leave to go to Canada or Japan, or where would you go? Switzerland, France, Italy, Korea? Where would you go? Asa, who would you like to talk to?
Emmy?
Emmy? Okay, so your guys talk to each other about where you would move and what it would be like. Go.
When they immigrated to things, like say I lived in, I had to move to like Paris. I would have to like move to Paris, and there'll be like new languages, new food, new sites, new house, everything. Even new people.
Asa, I can't hear you. You want to respond to her?
Sure. I think what makes it someone who can be hard
It would be
because
hard.
it'll be hard to learn new languages. It'll be hard to try new foods because they look sometimes people or kids don't like some new foods. It'll be and it will be hard to hard to get a new home that to get a new home.
All right. Asa, thank you so much. Emmy and Asa, they discussed what different things they might have to have to deal with, some challenges, a new home, a new language, new foods. Excellent job. Let's try, who else would like to talk? Ava, choose a friend. I see your hand. Go ahead.
Mackenzie.
Okay, go for it. Where would you go and what would it be like?
I would go to Tennessee. And so if I live in Florida right now, Florida does not have snow. And if I go to Tennessee, it will be hard because I haven't been there before. And it's like, it's just you are not used to like having snow. And like, it's gonna be hard to like know other people's languages because like maybe some people can be Spanish and like not English. And if I went to like Ohio, it same like Ava, it can snow there, and there could be like blizzards and stuff. So we would have to get used
It
to
does
the
not
cold.
snow in Ohio.
Yes, there is. I think so.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
I've been there.
If you went to Ohio, then
Leon, please don't break the promise. Thank you.
sorry.
So like you would have to get used to the snow because it's really cold. So if it snows, you wouldn't like wear a t-shirt and shorts like we do in Florida because all the time it's hot in Florida and it's really cold in Ohio. So you would have to get used to that, and then other people might speak other language, so it would be hard to understand them. So like if there was a server at a restaurant that spoke like Spanish, we wouldn't be able to understand her and she wouldn't understand us. So that would be difficult as well.
Wow, you guys, that was extremely insightful. Nice work. All four of you did a great job discussing the challenges and concerns you might have if you are moving to another country, or even like what Mackenzie discussed. You might not have to move to another country. Maybe you're just moving to another state. The weather could be very different too. And that's really interesting about the communication. I mean, you could be trying to do something as simple as order a cheeseburger, but if you can't communicate with them, you might end up with octopus on your plate. Ugh. No, I don't want that. All right, guys, good work. Let's do a quick story about Julia. Julia moves to the United States. This is a story written by Sean McCollum. As we read the story together, think about how Julia feels moving to a new country. How are these feelings the same or different? Oh, think about the students that just came into our new class. They didn't know what to expect. Any kind of change, any kind of difference can be challenging and can be a bit of a difficult thing to overcome. So I'm going to go open up this story, and I think it's going to read for us. Let's see if I can do it. Hold on. Oh, is it going to do it? Let's see. Where is it? Okay, it's thinking. Give me a thumbs up if
Julia Moves
you
to
can
the
hear it.
United States by Sean McCollum.
Okay, listen.
Close your eyes for just a minute. Take a deep breath and turn on your imaginations. Imagine that you are going on a trip with your family, a big trip. Maybe you're getting into a car or onto a boat, bus, or plane. Don't forget to buckle your seatbelt. Now you start moving over the water, on the highway or through the air. You travel a long, long way. It takes hours, maybe days, but finally you arrive. You are in a completely new place. The food smells and tastes different from anything you've eaten before. People dress in clothes you've never seen. The kids you meet on the playground speak a different language than you. Their words mean nothing to you. More than anything, you want to talk to them, to make new friends, but they don't understand what you're saying either.
Wow.
Imagine how you might feel being that new kid in a new place. Now open your eyes. Julia Alvarez was a little girl the second time her family moved to the United States. People, like Julia's parents, who moved to another country to start a new life are called immigrants. They often experience the same feelings you just imagined. Julia was born in New York City. Her parents, however, were from a country called the Dominican Republic. When Julia was still a baby, her family moved back to that warm, sunny country. Each summer, Julia's family shared a big beach house in the Dominican Republic with her aunts, uncles, and cousins. There, Julia played with her 3 sisters and many cousins, laughing loudly and shouting to each other in Spanish. Julia enjoyed having fun, making mischief, and making up stories. The Dominican Republic, though, was an unsafe place at the time. Julia's father was in danger, and he decided the family should escape. When Julia was 10 years old, they flew back to New York to start a new life. At first, Julia was very excited to return to where she had been born, but being an immigrant in a new land was harder than she ever imagined. Her family was only able to bring a few suitcases of clothes. Everything else had to stay behind. At first, they had to squeeze 6 people into a small apartment instead of living in a large house. Julia missed her cousins and her big, happy family. The cold winter made her skin dry and cracked. School was hard too. Julia knew some English, but her new classmates spoke so fast. She struggled to understand them. Bullies yelled at her, "Go back where you came from!" They threw rocks at her and teased her about her accent, the way she spoke. At one school, the teachers punished Julia when they heard her speak Spanish. Kids made fun of her frilly dresses and dark, curly hair. They turned up their noses at the spicy, garlicky food in her lunchbox. The teasing hurt Julia's feelings, and she grew quiet and shy. When she wanted to get away from her unhappiness, she escaped between the covers of books. Those stories took Julia's imagination to wonderful and exciting places. Figuring out new words helped her English get better and better. Julia changed to fit in and make friends. She tried to hide that she was an immigrant so other kids wouldn't make fun of her. She only spoke English outside of her home. She fixed her hair to make it straight, not curly. She and her sisters did everything they could to behave like they thought American girls were supposed to behave. There was one place, however, where Julia felt she could be her true self, in her writing. As she grew older, instead of just reading stories, she began to write them. At first, she tried to write like famous American writers, most of them white men writers. But her life experience gave her a different way of seeing the world. As a young woman, she also made new friends with other Latinas, women from Latin American countries like the Dominican Republic, Chile, Argentina, and Colombia. She felt excited about bringing her past to life using words. She started writing more about the Dominican Republic and her childhood. She wrote stories mostly in English and sprinkled with Spanish words. Today, Julia Alvarez is a famous author. She calls herself a Dominican American writer and writes poems, books, and stories, some of them for children. In her writing, she tells what it is like to be an immigrant in the United States, how it is both amazing and very hard. She wants to help readers see that no matter where we come from, what languages we speak, or what we look like, we all belong. We have the wonderful chance to learn together, understand each other, and be kind and helpful to each other.
Wow, that was a pretty powerful story written by an immigrant who actually had actually had experienced all of those big challenges. Okay, so thank you for that, guys. Can you see my Nearpod again? Give me a thumbs up if you, oh, good. All right, think back to the details. Where did Julia's family move from? Can you remember where? Anybody remember where? Let's see. I see a hand from Asa. Asa, do you remember where she came from?
She came from
Was it Colombia?
Colombia.
Was it? You know what we could do? We could go back into the text and try to figure it out. Go way back to, I think it was in the middle of the passage, and it would tell us where she came from. Does anybody remember why Julia's family moved to the United States? Ooh, Ruby, why did she come?
Because of floods.
Oh, there were floods. How awful. That reminds me of what we talked about earlier, that could be a reason why natural disasters can cause the push factor. That means that's the reason why they have to leave. All right, guys. Let's run through the rest of these slides if we can. Okay, nope, I'm gonna skip that. We were talking about how she felt. But this is the one I want you to answer. So you have only one question to answer, guys. Listen to the two questions, pick one, and then respond. Question 1, how do you think an immigrant feels when they move to a new country? Or question 2, how could you help them feel welcomed to your community? Gee, I think that she could have definitely used some help. Somebody could have found a way to make her feel more welcomed. So you can click the little T button to add text. Leon, if you're not putting responses or questions into the Zoom chat, I'm going to remind you that the promises that you made today are not being met. So please make a decision immediately. Thank you, that you are going to keep the promise. Ava?
Can you read question A again?
Sure. How do you think an immigrant feels when they have to move to a new country for whatever reason? Do they feel a certain way? And or you could do question 2. How could you help them feel more welcome in your community? If you're unable to type here, put it in the Zoom chat as a response. Okay. I don't see any yet, but it might be because it's a little slow. I think people are typing. Lucian, how do you think an immigrant feels? Can you unmute and tell me how an immigrant would feel when they first—
Let me ask you this question, since you mentioned that, are you,
sad?
do
They
you
could
know
feel
if you
sad.
had
Maybe they left their
total
family. Very nice, Lucian. Thank you.
to say?
Maybe they had to leave their families behind. Anybody have a different emotion that people might have to deal with besides sadness? Ava?
Weird. It can be weird. Like when you like taste things and you're like, this is not like the food I eat. And it can be hard. It's because you can't really understand what people are saying. And that's question A.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Definitely could feel strange to them. It could feel weird. It could feel, they could be feeling sad. Anybody have another one? It's not coming up for me. Let's see, Mackenzie, how else could people feel?
I would feel scared to move away from my home because it would be a new home, a new bedroom, and there would be lots of new people there.
Right, very good. Frightened, scared, absolutely, nervous. Arya?
I would feel worried if I moved, and I don't know, every people are saying the Spanish words.
Very good. Or any of the words. Let's imagine you had to move to Japan. I can't speak Japanese. So yeah, you're right. I would feel worried I wasn't communicating properly, worried maybe I would upset them somehow. There's customs and traditions. And what if I did something that upset them? And that can happen. Nice work, guys. Okay, let's go to the next part. And talk about positive changes. Remember earlier at the very beginning, I said that culture, how people live in their own countries can actually come and influence how we live here in the United States. They could bring their cultural differences here. A lot of times, and we talked about this, I think a few weeks ago, you're driving around the street and you see this, an Italian restaurant or a Mexican restaurant, or gosh, there are all different types of foods that come from other countries, right? And they bring those cultures here. I see the same thing with religion. I see the same thing even with street names sometimes. So talking about culture, look at the spot one on the bottom center. You have this family sitting around. Maybe they're discussing their religion. Maybe they're discussing their belief systems. Those come over from, they bring them over from their countries, and they bring them to the United States. The United States, it's all incorporated, guys. We share each other's cultures. Now, circle the inventions of immigrants or immigrant inventors of which you are familiar. Look at these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 examples of inventions or cultural influences that have come over from other countries into the United States. Circle all the ones you know. And I don't think I can see. It's Nearpod's just not letting me see your responses today. It's a bugger today. Oh no. All right, let's do it this way. If you've ever heard of YouTube, touch your head. If you've ever heard of Google, stick out your tongue. Aha. If you've ever seen anyone do Taekwondo or karate, give me a hi-ya. If you've ever heard of Mario and Luigi, the Italian guys, give me a, oh, I don't know, give me some starbursts. Give me some starbursts. Yeah. And have you ever heard of Albert Einstein? Einstein, the famous inventor and scientist. Okay, give me your crazy hair. Stick up your hair like this, like Einstein has crazy hair. Awesome. Okay. All of these have been invented or brought over from other countries and have influenced how we live. Wonderful job, guys. Let's wrap it up. We're almost done. We're so close. Draw a picture that represents your identity and culture. Listen, when you work on this on your own, or you can do this on a piece of paper, draw anything that represents you as a family, how you live, your culture, your identity, your religion, your foods. Think about all the cultural influences that you bring to the United States. I had a friend who'd never cut his hair. Yeah, that was a cultural influence. In their country, the men didn't cut their hair until they became adults. So when they were younger, they let the boys' hair grow, and it was way longer than any hair I've ever seen. It was wild. And when he turned to be an adult, that's when they cut hair. That's a cultural influence. Awesome. What did we do today? Well, we learned a lot. We learned to explain the reasons why immigration continues even today. Even though they don't come through Ellis Island anymore, there are other avenues and other reasons why people leave their country to come to the United States. The push factors, what makes them leave, and the pull factors, why do they want to come here? What about the United States makes them want to come here? We learn to identify cultural influences like foods, religion, families, music, song, activities like Taekwondo, all the different cultural influences and contributions of immigrants today. We learn to explain how immigrants of today have changed the United States. Now, after today's interesting lesson and that story, how much do you now know about the cultural influences of immigrant families coming to the United States? A, oh, I know some more I can explain. B, I still need a little practice. C, I need instruction and support. Ooh, I see some more friends in the A's. You guys are starting to learn more. And it's important to discuss with your family, your learning coaches, what is culture? How how does your, how do I want to ask this? Your family's culture, why is it important to you? What is it like? Where are the influences from? Some people have been in the United States so long, they have relations to Native Americans. So their cultural influence might be from Native Americans that lived here on the land. But myself, Italian and Polish, that's what we bring over. Fabulous. Thank you for learning with me. Is there anybody who would like to stay for 2 minutes to discuss culture with me? Anybody who wants to stay? Otherwise, you can go. I do have a meeting in 7 minutes. So let's see. Ooh, Mackenzie, do you have your hand up? No? Ava, go for it.
So is culture like where you like if someone moves to another country, like how is culture like how you tell when like how they feel?
It could be how they feel. It could be how they act. It could be how they dress. It could be what they eat. Ooh, culture is interesting. It's something that, like we said, is passed down by, if you need to go, bye-bye. It's passed down from your family members, your generations. My family always, I don't know, cooks spaghetti on Sunday. That's a cultural thing. Every Sunday, we always have spaghetti. Isn't that weird? We never have anything else but spaghetti on every Sunday. That's an interesting cultural thing or cultural trait that we have. All right, Emmy, go for it.
I have to I'm gonna tell you it, and I also need the code for 10.6 for.
Okay. Okay.
So I think there will also be moved to like there'll be like new stuff to buy at sports.
True. Oh, and that's an interesting thing. Like sports can be a cultural influence too, because some countries don't have football like we have football. So they're like, what is that game? We've never seen that game before. Thank you for that. And by the way, I can text it to Mom, but tell me, was it reading?
My mom isn't here right now. Can you text it to my dad?
Oh, I'll put it in the Zoom chat. Wait for me. Is it for reading, math, social studies, or science?
ELA.
Ah, okay. Check the Zoom chat. It's coming only to you.
Okay.
All right. All right, guys. Anybody else? Fayruza, go for it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So my family is from Egypt.
Ooh.
And we have a holiday and it's for a whole month.
What's it called?
Ramadan.
Yes, I've heard of it. I love that. And we didn't even talk about holidays. Holidays is another cultural influence. Very good. Thank you, Fayruza.